Hey guys, today I'll be going over my die cutting workflow using the print and cut feature on the Silhouette machine, specifically how I use my Photoshop template and action set to streamline the tracing process. I've included a free download for all those files below, and I hope they save you guys some time as well. Before we get started, I just want to point out the tutorials I've listed below. If you're new to the print and cut feature, they're a great resource to learn the basics and help you get started. Those of you who do have some experience with the feature know how tedious it can be to create print documents when you have a lot of shapes to cut. This was a huge problem for me because I like to create all my die cuts for a project in one batch whenever possible. Here you see just the first batch of die cuts I'm making for my December daily album this year. There are actually about 100 different shapes placed within these 6 documents, and it would have been a massive undertaking to cut everything in one batch if I had used Silhouette software to create the documents. Instead, I opened up my Photoshop template containing a layer with the Silhouette registration marks. I also opened up all the shapes I wanted to cut and used a script to copy these files into my template. The free download link for this script is in my notes below, and it's an absolute essential for me. Before copying a layer into the template, the script renames it to the file name and then automatically closes that file. So after it's finished running, you're left with one file open, the template containing a separate layer for all the assets you want to cut. Next, it's just a matter of arranging your shapes. If you need to create more than one document like I did, then simply group each individual page of images together and toggle the visibility on and off for each group as needed. Here you can see how I organized my layers panel for this project. When you're ready to save, make sure to first toggle off the layer containing the registration marks. I saved each individual group as its own PNG. Then I simply dragged and dropped all 6 PNGs into the Silhouette software all at once. Each file you drag into the program is opened up in its own document, so at this point you're free to trace, print, and cut as you normally would. I actually have one more step though that I execute in Photoshop, and that's to quickly prep my images for tracing using my action set. I decided to create this action set for Photoshop because I couldn't use the same settings for every shape when tracing them in Silhouette software. Here's a really good example of what I'm talking about. For this document, there are a number of elements containing white backgrounds or patterns, like this polka dot paper and all these different word strips. When you open up your Silhouette tracing panel, the high pass filter is automatically selected, and it's usually easy enough to adjust the settings for most things. But here you can see that the program isn't recognizing the white areas in my shapes. So to achieve a proper cut for everything, I would have to trace those images in a separate batch using the low pass filter. My actions work around this issue, and now my workflow is completely automated. In just a couple clicks, I can create photo masks for all my print and cut documents. The masks eliminate the need for adjustments in Silhouette's trace panel, and I can use one standard setting for every document to achieve a perfect cut every time. To use the actions, simply double-click the ATN file, and you should see them installed in your Photoshop Actions panel. Next, open all the files that need masks and run the action titled Batch Save Mask. Now go back to the original print and cut PNG you dragged earlier into the Silhouette software. Select the File menu, then choose Merge and open the corresponding mask. It'll merge into your document perfectly positioned on top of your image. When that's done, you can go ahead and configure your print and cut document, so choose the paper size, orientation, and click the box Show Registration Marks. When that's done, hit Command-A to select everything and move all the shapes in place. Now trace as you normally would. Open up the Trace panel and select your image. Going forward, you'll be able to use the same settings for every document. Simply deactivate the high pass filter, change the threshold to 100%, and hit Trace. And that's it. You're all set to begin printing and cutting. Just remember to delete the layer mask first.